Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making gluten-free pizzas using a seriously low-carb, gluten-free self-raising flour. I'll put the details of this product in the caption below. It's not sponsored, but it is a good gluten-free product, and when I find a good gluten-free product, I'd rather share it so that the rest of you can enjoy it too. My kids are helping me make these pizza bases, and when you've got kids in the kitchen, I find the easiest thing to do is to give them tasks, whether it's a simple task of opening a box, pouring in flour, cutting up an ingredient with your help. They seem to enjoy just being in the kitchen and being a part of the end result, eating it. You might be wondering, what is she putting into this gluten-free pizza base? Well, the ingredients mimic a normal pizza base with the exception of the addition of xanthan gum. And I've added some extra water into my pizza base as it was mixing just to make sure that the dough has come together nicely. But don't worry, if I'm talking too fast, you will find the details of what I put into this pizza base in the caption below. So after the dough has been mixing and you've mixed in all the liquid ingredients, you need to take it out and knead it. I understand that normally pizza bases are needed to assist with the development of gluten, and there's no gluten in our pizza base, but I still like to mix it all on a floured surface and make sure that all the ingredients have come together nicely before I put it back into a bowl and allow it to rest in a warm area. I didn't have a load of time to let this dough rest, and I probably had too much out at the same time, so I split the dough into two, rolled it out to make sure it was all incorporated together, then put it back into the bowl that I mixed it in and set it aside to rest for an hour until it began to grow. Whilst the dough was resting for the initial 1 hour rest, I decided to start chopping up the pizza ingredients with my daughter. My son had completely lost interest at this point, so I salvaged what I could. The purple apparatus that my daughter is holding is just an onion holder, I suppose you would call it. I got it from a kitchenware store, and she's using a plastic knife, which I believe was branded as a mango knife, because that's the only child-safe knife I could find at the store that I was in. So basically, the point of the onion holder is just to encourage her to keep her hands away from the blade. Even though it's a plastic knife, I still didn't want little fingers lying around. So I'm encouraging her to hold the top of the purple onion holder, so that way her hands are well and truly away from the produce and the produce is still being kept secured. Once she's had a go, I'm able to continue on with the task myself and get it done a lot quicker. So as far as pizza toppings go, if you're gluten-free, it's pretty simple. If you stick to fresh produce like mushrooms, capsicum, things like that, they're going to be gluten-free already. Where it starts to get a bit tricky is where you go for processed foods like hams and salamis. If you're getting it from the deli, they will usually tell you whether it's gluten-free or not. Even if you're buying it pre-packaged, it'll usually say whether it's gluten-free or not. For me, I don't like all those processed meats, and I much prefer fresh chicken, so I don't normally have an issue when I make my own pizzas at home. It's usually chicken and veggies, and I don't have to worry so much, as I know it's all gluten-free. But if you're making this for a gluten-free friend and you know that they like ham and salami and a few processed packaged things like tomatoes, even tomato sauces, that's where you've got to be really careful. Make sure it says gluten-free, or make sure they've had a read of the ingredients and are comfortable that it's gluten-free. So after I've chopped up all of my bits and pieces for the tops of the pizza, I'm re-rolling out the pizza bases again. These ones I'm cutting into little love heart shapes because my son requested love heart pizzas. I'm poking it with a fork before I put it into the oven to blind bake. I do this just to make sure the pizza bases are cooked. Once they've had like a few minutes to say 10 minutes in the oven to get that cooking process started, I let them cool down and then encouraged my kids to come back into the kitchen to decorate them. I've put out all of the toppings that we've chopped up in front of the kids for them to decide which ones they want to put on their pizzas. But as I suspected, they just wanted margarita pizzas, which was quite simple. They were getting a little bit carried away with eating the cheese and picking up the salami, as they both love that. But that's all part of the fun of making pizzas at home. The final process of making pizzas at home is to actually bake them again in the oven with all the topping on. It's up to you how long you actually cook it for. Some people like their cheese extra crispy, some like it just melted. I prefer it to be cooked all the way through, completely melted and enough to warm the rest of the ingredients up on the pizza. So it's entirely up to you, but usually somewhere between 10 to 15 minutes at 180 degrees is more than enough. For my kids' pizzas, which were very simple with just cheese and sauce, they don't take very long at all, maximum 10 to 12 minutes and they are done. Not too done, otherwise they won't eat them. Controversially, do you put pineapple on your pizzas? Yes or no? Now, I'm hit and miss with this one. I don't put them on my pizzas if I were to eat pizza at home, but if I was going out somewhere and getting a gluten-free pizza and the option had pineapple on it, I wouldn't necessarily say no. So that would go for, say, a barbecue chicken pizza with pineapple. That's okay for me. Or maybe a vegetarian with pineapple. Again, that's all right. But if I have to make them at home, it's a definite no. My guests, however, are impartial to pineapple on a pizza, so their pizzas were completely topped with everything that I had, pineapple included. So there you have it. Gluten-free pizzas made at home with your own toppings, however you like them. Simple to do. Give it a go. I'll put the details in the caption so you can find the flour for yourself.